I know you already know about Raid Shadow Legends, but it's for good reason. It's because it's one of the top 3 ranked RPGs on the Google Play Store. The game is crazy popular, with almost 15 million downloads in the last 6 months. With over 400 champions for you to collect and personally customize, and 1 million champion builds, there are endless options to fit your playstyle. And once you've built up your champions, you can claim glory in the PvP arena or raid with friends in a clan. And the best part? It's free. With new champions every month and a progression system to reward you with free champions and equipment, you'll be able to learn and collect along the way. And once you've completed all the missions, you'll be rewarded with one of the best legendary champions in the game, Arbiter. Raid has huge plans for the next 6 months, so what are you waiting for? Get down there to my description, click the link, and download the game today. And if you're a new player, you'll be rewarded with 100,000 silver, 2 clan boss keys, 10 mystery shards, and 1 free champion, Executioner. Okay, thanks. Bye. Thanksgiving, one of America's most time-honored traditions. A time to come together with family, friends, and a dog. I guess if you have one. But where did all this good stuff come from? Is this picture accurate? Is what I'm saying? This picture doesn't look historically accurate to me. Maybe it is, I don't know. I'm just saying. But that's why I'm here today. Because I have the distinct honor to be able to tell all of you out there today the real story, the untold story of the Pilgrims. Our story begins here, in a new world far, far away.
Chapter 1. A very questionable voyage.
Ah yes, the Pilgrims, those intrepid few, the great founding settlers of this nation, willing to risk life and limb to sail across the Atlantic Ocean to escape religious persecution in sight of a better lives for themselves and their families, and to forge a new path in the new world for generations to come. A beautiful story. Yes, indeed. One that we commemorate every year here in America with the observance of Thanksgiving. If by beautiful, you happen to mean literally that's not how it happened. Didn't happen that way. Well, you thought it was about this? You thought it was about this? You're fucking wrong! I mean, the story of the Pilgrims is technically true, in the same way that it's technically true that Ridley Scott has not completely lost his mind. Stop hurting me! You see, here in America, in school we learned that the Pilgrims were kind of like the first Americans. Kind of like an origin story, like Adam and Eve, only instead of it, being about the Bible, it's about a real historical country. So, you could just look that up. Not only were the Pilgrims not the first Europeans to reach the North American continent, they weren't even the first English settlers. In fact, they didn't want to be settlers at all. They were headed for the already established English colony of Jamestown, Virginia. Anybody heard about that? Anyone know about that? What the fuck is Jamestown? We don't learn about that, but we learn about the Pilgrims, who missed Jamestown. They whiffed 200 miles up the fucking country to Massachusetts. That's right, my dudes. Unfortunately, our beloved Pilgrims just whiffed it. Okay? They didn't mean to go up there. It was just a rather strong wind. Who's heard about Jamestown? Sergio thought it was Jonestown. I explained to him, no, that's where Jim Jones forced a bunch of innocent people to drink cyanide. Different place. It was the first English colony.
Kool-Aid.
What'd I say?
Cyanide.
Cyanide was in the Kool-Aid. You think the Kool-Aid killed him? I know it's shit. But it's not deadly. What was in the Jonestown Kool-Aid?
Valium, chloral hydrate, cyanide, and phenergan.
Cyanide and phenergan. I'm just saying, it wasn't some bad Splenda. So, from now on, when you look at a painting of the Pilgrims landing at Plymouth Rock looking all fierce and stalwart in the face of untamed wilderness, think of them less as being like, we finally made it. Now, we forge onward. And more like, fuck Jim, did you bring the map? I'm not 100% on this, but I think we might be literally nowhere in the known world at all, and all we have is no food and these Dutch buckle hats. Which brings me to my next point, the Dutch years. That's right, there were Dutch years. How were the Dutch years? Well, I'll tell you. So you know that whole song and dance about how the Pilgrims left England to escape religious persecution? Yeah, well, that's true, I guess, if you account for the fact that the religious persecution they were escaping was brought on because they wanted the religious freedom to restrict the religious freedom from anyone in their general area. To put it in layman's terms for you, the Pilgrims were basically a cult And so the King of England was like, look, you're free to do that weird, ooky, spooky cult shit or whatever, but just, I don't want to see it, all right? Do it in the Netherlands or something. You see, the Pilgrims were actually well known as being a more radical sect of the Puritans. And I don't know how that's possible. What, they think the Puritans weren't pure enough? It's in the fucking name. The Pilgrims were like the punk rockers who thought no one else was punk enough, no matter what they did. Oh my God, sorry, what? The whole time, I've been calling them the Pilgrims? My bad, I should have known better, man. I should be calling them by, I'm sorry. I should be referring to them by their real name that they made up for themselves and wanted to be called the Separatists. That's right, the Separatists! Didn't learn that in History 101. This is the name of the kind of group you definitely want in your country. What's wrong, Kingy? You scared of your head on a pike in the middle of the capital city for all to gawk at? What, it's just a name, huh? You scared of a name? You hear that? King James has nameophobia, everyone! Fuck you to the Netherlands, is what he said. Get the fuck to Holland. Get to Holland. I'm the king. So, not being able to practice their radical faith in peace in England, they exiled themselves to the Netherlands to live out their days amongst the Dutch folk. That's right, they up and moved across the channel to a town called Leiden, which I'm sure you all know and love as a little slice of heaven between Voorburg and Hoofddorp. Listen, Dutch people, you stop sounding like that, I'll stop making fun of you. Fingers crossed behind my back. You're never gonna be stopped being made fun of. I'm never gonna leave the Dutch alone. So finally, thanks to the unprecedented tolerance of the Dutch, the Pilgrims could practice their intolerance in peace. Until shortly thereafter, where they literally said, can you fucking believe these Dutch people? Before you know it, our kids are gonna be talking like that. Hoofddorp, dingle dropping. This literally happened, by the way. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but they were the only people to be nice enough to take them in. And they just kicked it in their face. Yes, that's right. The Pilgrims were so actually disgusted by Holland that they were convinced it would actually be better to cross the Atlantic Ocean in a rickety boat of questionable functionality so they could live somewhere in the woods in the middle of nowhere and basically do what they were already doing in Europe, except without running water.
Chapter 3. The First Thanksgiving?
So that's right, for some reason, instead of learning about Jamestown as the founding of America, we learn about a ragtag band of incompetent, Dutch-hating, cultist English separatists who almost all died because their boat sprang a leak and they forgot to learn how to steer before departing. And the only reason they survived is because a nice Native American man named Tisquantum, most of you may know him as Squanto, some of you may know him as Sasquatch, but you're wrong, came along and was like, hey, I noticed you guys were like starving over here. Like, do you want me to show you how to like grow some freaking corn? I'm not trying to intrude. I'm just kind of feel bad, dude. Your little boy's a skeleton. You put a little fish in the ground and the corn comes out and then your little boy's not a skeleton anymore. All right, okay. I've slayed enough American sacred cows for one day, or should I say sacred American turkeys? I shouldn't say that. This is a high holy holiday coming up, Thanksgiving, and I'll make good. To show my patriotism, I'm gonna become a pilgrim myself. That's right, we're going to Plymouth Rock. There she is! That's Plymouth Rock. Seriously, this is Plymouth Rock? Why do they got it in a cage? Why is it jailed like a frickin' zoo animal? I seriously didn't know, it's just a rock. Just an actual rock. How do I know this was the one? I thought Plymouth Rock was more of a metaphorical thing, like, you know, a big crag on the side of a mountain, not like a literal. This is barely Plymouth Stone, my dude. Don't they just look like they're having the time of their lives? Not such a bad life though, you know. He gets fed a couple times a day. Every now and then, Robert comes down to give him a power washing. All right, honey, I'll see you later. The rock got a bit dirty from sitting there. Dude, you could just steal Plymouth Rock, dude. Okay? I'm not saying you should, but you could just steal Plymouth Rock, dude. This rock clearly needs some company. God knows it needs some company. So I'm just gonna chill now with Plymouth over here. And, you know, Rob's gonna stop by later with some White Claw. We're gonna hang out, play some drinking games. He didn't hear from me, but he can't hold his liquor, okay? gets drunk, rolls around. You gotta dodge him. Your toes get all smashed up. It's not pretty. Okay, guys. I'm not sure what I do on this channel anymore, and I'm sure you're also not sure. But fuck you, huh?